At Pittsburgh, Obama, where I'm the varsity boys coach, there's an arch rival, a big school, Alderdice. The Alderdice Dragons, you go into that school and there's things along the wall, and in one recent decade, Alderdice won the city championship every single year on the girls' side. On the boys' side, once out of 10 years they don't win. Luckily, we've beaten them in the past, and we'll beat them again in the future. And all our superstars have gone on to state championships, and they sometimes don't always show up. But this past year, there was a problem. Alderdice had a new coach, and they needed a second coach, and they hired a gentleman. He came to the job. He was all excited. I know the guy. He works for the city. He's a public works employee. So with Alderdice having two good coaches, plus the all-time legend Al Rose always helping them with the JCC Sailfish right there in Squirrel Hill, they're going to be hard to beat. But regardless, I want the kids in the city to do well and have good opportunities. But I was really heartbroken. About a week after the season began, the new coach was removed. Nothing was said. Where'd he go? Well, I kept digging and digging and digging. Finally, I found out that there was a conflict of interest. A worker in the city cannot become paid by another government entity. So if you work in the city, you can't work for Pittsburgh Public Schools. You can't be a coach. Now, there are exceptions. One exception is the controller. The city controller can be working for the city and for the school district. This treasurer can collect the tax monies for both the city and the school district. Also, city school district workers are allowed to work in city parks in the summer months. But the problem is we got policemen and fire and EMS, we got bureaucrats, we got public works people, we got people that are employed in the city that can help our athletic sports teams as coaches, perhaps a head coach, perhaps an assistant coach, fall, winter, spring, doesn't quite matter, whatever the coaches might be interested in. If they get hired, they should be able to contribute to our youth and coach our athletic teams. At Pittsburgh Public Schools, athletes and our athletic teams have a number of struggles on our hands, and one of them shouldn't be limiting the pool of coaches to only people who do not work at the city. And there was such a blow up recently, and all the way to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, where there's a ruling about the police must be able to live anywhere they want. And there had been a law that the police had to live within the city. Well, how about this? Let's flip it over on its head and say, hey, officers, FOP, how about if you come and work in the city, and if you can, and if you're willing and able, and you're qualified and you're hired, we're going to allow you to coach your kids' teams. We're going to allow you to coach the kids in the city. We don't have the ability to hire coaches in the city if they work for the city of Pittsburgh. That has to change. Thankfully, we're putting forth legislation, get it on the ballot, change the city code, the city constitution, which is actually called the city charter, and we can make this little improvement, and I think it can help, in certain instances, allow people to coach our Pittsburgh Public School athletes.